I had been planning the Thailand trip for months. Every detail carefully researched, every expense quietly covered. My older sister, Natalie, had always assumed she was the one in charge, and I never corrected her. Let her think she picked the island, the hotels, the excursions. I was happy just seeing the family together, especially since our parents had passed a few years ago. I wanted us to bond, to relax, to create memories. I didn't want credit, but I also didn't want to be treated like the help. 3 days into our stay in Koh Samui, Natalie dropped a bombshell. "I need you to watch the kids tonight," she said breezily, tossing me the baby monitor like it was a set of car keys. "John and I are doing the Sunset Cruise. We booked it months ago, so, yeah." I blinked. "Wait, what?" "I thought we were going to fire show together." She waved her hand. "It's just one night. You'll survive." Her twins, adorable but a handful, were already melting down from the beach heat. She didn't ask. She assigned. Like always. And maybe I would have let it go, except that smug tone, the way she assumed I had nothing better to do. Like I was the free babysitter on a tropical island, not the reason we were all even here. So I pulled out my phone and opened the travel app. I had all the bookings under my email. The villa, the transport, even their precious cruise. I hadn't planned to pull the plug, but something snapped. I canceled their Sunset Cruise with one swipe. No refunds. An hour later, Natalie came back from getting dressed in a flowy, white beach dress, ready for her romantic evening. I handed her the twins. "What are you doing?" she asked, alarmed. "Getting ready for fire show," I said, slipping on my sandals. "By the way, the cruise is canceled. Shouldn't be a problem. You didn't pay for it." Her mouth opened, then closed. "You paid for it?" I nodded. "The whole trip? Flights, hotels, everything. Figured you could use a break, and wouldn't take it unless someone forced you. I didn't need thanks, but I also didn't sign up to be the nanny." She was silent for a moment, the twins squirming in her arms. I didn't know," she whispered. "Exactly." I walked out, the sound of fire drums already rising in the distance, leaving her with a lot to think about. That night, I watched the flames dance across the beach, free for once, not just from babysitting duties, but from the weight of never speaking up. And honestly, it felt better than any cruise ever could. The next morning, the atmosphere in the villa was quieter, not icy, not explosive, just quiet, the kind of silence that means someone is rethinking everything. I found Natalie on the patio, already awake, sipping a coffee and staring out at the waves. The twins were napping, miracle of miracles, and for once she looked still. No rushing, no barking orders, no pretending she had it all together. She didn't look up when I sat down beside her. "You were right," she said, finally. I didn't respond. "Not yet. I've been acting like I'm owed something just because I'm tired and overwhelmed all the time. But that doesn't give me the right to take you for granted." I glanced over. Her eyes were puffy, like she hadn't slept much, or maybe cried. "It's not about the money," I said. "It never was." "I know," she nodded, "but it still took you doing something drastic to make me see it." She set her cup down and looked straight at me. "You didn't have to do this trip. You didn't have to do any of it. But you did. And I didn't even say thank you. I just assumed like I always do." I shrugged. "You're used to being the one in charge." I let it happen. That's on me, too. We sat there in silence again, this time more comfortable. The ocean stretched wide before us, sparkling like it didn't care who was right or wrong. Then she reached into her robe pocket and handed me a crumpled paper. "I booked you a Thai massage at the spa down the road," she said. 2 hours. No kids. No interruptions. I raised an eyebrow. "Who's watching the twins?" "Me. Obviously." She gave a soft laugh. "Besides, they need to see that their mom can do things without dumping everything on someone else." I didn't say anything, just took the paper and stood up. But as I walked toward the spa, I could feel something shift between us, not entirely fixed, but healing. Later that week, we did another group excursion. This time, all of us, even the kids. Natalie let me pick. No eye rolls, no subtle power plays. Just a sister walking beside her sibling like an equal. That night, as we sat around a beach bonfire, she leaned over and said quietly, "Next trip, I'm planning it. And I'm paying. You just show up and relax." I smiled, surprised. Deal. Maybe family isn't about keeping score. But sometimes, drawing a line is the only way to remind people that love shouldn't come with conditions or unpaid babysitting shifts. And that sunset cruise? I rebooked it for myself on the last night. Alone, peaceful, and absolutely worth it. The cruise set off just before dusk. I stood at the bow of the small catamaran, barefoot, holding a chilled drink in one hand and letting the wind tangle my hair. For the first time all trip, there was no noise, no diapers, no demands, no pretending to be okay with being overlooked. Just the hum of the ocean, the call of distant birds, and the slow fire of the sky melting into gold. There were other people on board, couples mostly, but I didn't mind. I wasn't here for conversation. I was here to close the loop. I thought about how Natalie looked that morning, humbled in a way I'd never seen before. Thought about how she actually sat on the floor with the twins that afternoon and built a sandcastle while I read a book in peace. That had never happened, not on any trip, not in our own hometown, never. And it hit me. Sometimes love isn't loud. Sometimes it's not the sacrifice itself, but the boundaries we learn to set because we finally realize we deserve better. I had always wanted to be the good sibling, the one who steps up, who smooths things over. But that role had become a cage. Natalie had gotten used to it, and I had helped build the bars. But now I was free, as the sun slipped below the horizon, painting the sea in streaks of orange and lavender. I closed my eyes and let it all soak in. The warm air, the light, the knowing that I could give and still keep something for myself. Back at the villa later that night, Natalie was waiting up for me. The kids were asleep, and she'd lit a citronella candle on the porch. "How was it?" she asked softly. "Perfect," I said, sitting down beside her. We didn't say much after that. Just passed the time watching the stars pop into view one by one. And in the silence between us, something unspoken but strong began to settle. Respect, balance, maybe even a new beginning. Not just sisters anymore. We sat there for a while, listening to the chorus of crickets and waves brushing the shore. Natalie handed me a cold mango slice from the bowl she brought out. Something so small, but it felt like an offering, an apology, too. "You know," she said, her voice low, "I always thought I had to be the one holding everything together, but maybe I was just holding on too tight." I smiled. Turns out, letting go can be kind of relaxing. She laughed, really laughed, for the first time in days. It echoed out into the night, like a weight being lifted. Then she raised her glass of coconut water like it was champagne. To siblings who stop pretending. I raised mine back. And to tropical breakdowns that fix more than they break. We clinked, lightly, like a secret pact. Then, just as we were about to go inside, Natalie turned to me with a mischievous glint in her eye. "Next trip, Japan. But this time, you're watching the kids, while I book you a private ryokan and disappear into the mountains for 3 days." I gave her a look. She grinned. "Kidding. Sort of." I rolled my eyes and shook my head. But this time, it wasn't from frustration. It was from the strange, sweet realization that maybe, just maybe, she finally got it. And as I crawled into bed that night, sun-kissed and salt-tired, I thought, sometimes it takes a canceled cruise to steer a relationship back on course. Best money I ever spent.